Man found dead with arm severed after Portmore gun attack, another hospitalized. Detectives assigned to the St. Catherine South Police have launched an investigation into the death of an unidentified man who was found with his arm severed after a gun attack in Portmore on Sunday. A 23-year-old man of a Kingston address was also injured in the incident and remains in hospital. Reports are that about 5:20 a.m., the police were called to a scene along Germain Road in Portmore, where both men had reportedly been shot by unknown assailants multiple times. The men were taken to hospital, where one was pronounced dead and the other hospitalized. The Bridgeport Criminal Investigations Branch is probing the matter. Police identified Nigerian doctor killed in vicular crash. A Nigerian medical doctor who was killed in a vehicular crash along the Golden Valley Main Road in Caston St. Mary on Monday has been identified as 36-year-old Etty of Onotobe in the parish. The Caston police say about 5:50 a.m., Etty was a passenger aboard a below 100-feet motor vehicle with 3 other occupants traveling from Kingston towards Onotobe. Upon reaching a section of the roadway, the driver reportedly swerved to avoid a collision with an oncoming vehicle, hit an embankment, and plummeted into a precipice. The vehicle then came to a rest at the embankment of a river. The police and fire brigade were alerted, and on their arrival, all 4 persons were transported to hospital, where it was pronounced dead and the others treated. Elderly man dies in blaze in West Morland. An elderly man perished in a blaze on Sunday night in Smithfield, Westmoreland. The man, who has been identified as George Robinson, is believed to be of his 80s, died after sustaining burns at his Bedward Lane home close to midnight. The Jamaica Fire Brigade said it was alerted to the fire at about 11:47 p.m. and responded with 2 units from the Savannah Lamar station. Upon their arrival, they found a 2-apartment board structure fully engulfed in flames. The JFB said 1 jet was used to contain the blaze. During the cooling down operation, the body of the elderly man was found among the rubble. The fire department and police are investigating. RJR Gleina Sports Foundation saddened at the passing of producer Alwyn Campbell. The RJR Gleina Sports Education has expressed sadness at the death of Alwyn Campbell, the event producer, scriptwriter, and Sports World magazine writer for the annual National Sportsman and Sportswoman of the Year event. Campbell died on Friday night. A statement on behalf of the Foundation's Board of Directors and Secretariat said Campbell had been producing the event for more than a decade now and has always been respected, admired, and appreciated by the Foundation for his professionalism and his even temperament. Alwyn's knowledge of sports, excellent writing skills, and his keen sense of purpose have served the Foundation well over the years, it said, adding that Alwyn was dependable, hardworking, innovative, and easy to work with year after year. The Foundation said that while Campbell will be missed tremendously, his contributions will never be forgotten. He wrote the lyrics for the famous Fab Five hit soca song Ring Road Jam. Motorists take auto problems to Chinese mechanics. At least one auto mechanic of a popular car dealership believes few motorists are turning up at his location for repairs because they have been going instead to the Chinese-operated facility in Fairpen St. Andrew. And according to the president of the All Voice Taxi Association, Lauren Finnegan, he is not surprised because Jamaicans have been dealt a raw deal by several mechanics over the years. The team of Chinese mechanics at Wholehearted Car Service Company, which undertakes all kinds of large, medium, and small vehicle maintenance, fix, decomposition, installation, and commissioning, emerged on the scene recently. Long queues of motor vehicles of the location almost daily, including on Sunday when reporters visited, appear to be testament that the word have been spreading about the quality of work being delivered at the Chinese team. On Friday, Finnegan said, for various reasons, players in the public transportation sector will easily buy into the services offered by the Chinese. The sector is under extreme financial strain. Maintenance cost of vehicles is very, very high. We have been getting a lot of complaints from our operators that they are getting inferior parts being sold as genuine parts, especially front-end and electronical parts. They have to wait on certain auto parts places to come in with a container. Persons who can find the money would go to the auto parts place when the container come and buy 6 to a dozen of each spare parts that are changed regularly. Because those used parts are genuine, the new ones are not. The other complaint I have gotten is that some mechanics that you go to, motorists, are getting a raw deal in terms of repairs. Because of those things, I strongly believe it is something the sector will build into because the financial strain that we're under right now as we speak. When you take into consideration the roads in Kingston Metropolitan Transport Region, our operators have been going to the mechanic very often, Finnegan pointed out. He told reporters that 3 weeks ago, he stood witness as one of the executive members brought her vehicle to a mechanic and was, in his opinion, overcharged. He said he went with her to buy the needed parts, and she was initially told by the mechanic that the cost to replace the car parts was $12,000. When she bought the parts to him, he immediately increased the price. He increased the price to $26,000 right in my presence, stated Finnegan. The other example I will give you is a broad one happening across Jamaica. When you take the vehicle to the garage, in a number of instances, because you have other engagements, you leave and the mechanic doesn't put the parts that you bring there, but instead puts on used parts and keep your new parts, or he puts on only some of the new parts. Most taxi operators who complain, it's within 2 days that the same problem comes back. When they go to another mechanic, he would say no parts were changed on this vehicle. A member of my organization has operated buses for over 20 years. He owns the bus and he called me 2 days ago and said he spent $100,000 on electrical parts, and after going to 4 different electricians, each gave a different diagnosis. After spending $100,000 on parts, the vehicle is still in the garage and can't come out, Finnegan noted. He bemoaned that mechanics have a tendency to tell car owners to buy certain parts, and when they buy them, they are not what the vehicle requires. He believed that some of them are outright dishonest. Some of these mechanics, as far as the reports say, are mechanics who have been working over the years. Our Jamaican tradesmen have also been giving the citizens of this country a raw deal in terms of what they do. It is not unique to any particular trade area, but broad-based. When some of the workers get to work between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., they chat for half an hour, smoke ganja, and they idle for another hour or half before they start to work, and by 4 p.m. they start to pack up to leave. We in the public transportation sector, if we're sick and if our car is sick, we don't make any money. No operator or investor wants their car to stay in the garage longer than is necessary. If we are having a certain type of service from the Chinese and it is publicized, the sector is going to rush to it, Finnegan added. I walked into a garage one day and on the ground I found 2 clips from this pad. I took them up and gave them to the mechanic and he told me that they came off the car that just drove out. I told him to call the man and put them in and he said no. He said maybe the same man will come back and say they dropped out of the vehicle and he said he would sell them to him. The taxi boss recounted. I shook my head and wondered how many persons he had done that to. But despite the many bad eggs in the sector, Finnegan highlighted that there are still a few good men who display high professionalism, efficiency, and even without having cutting-edge equipment. There is a young man in St. Margaret's Bay in Portland who works on the front end of vehicles, rebuild bushes, and is a good alignment. This young man has no equipment, and you better get there early to get your vehicle fixed because the line is always long. He does everything manually, but at the end of the day, everybody is happy, and he is highly recommended. This is a mechanic in Long Road, Portland. That man would prefer to take his own money if he knows you well and go and buy the parts for your vehicle rather than patch it up and tell you to go and come back, Finnegan shared. Social media users have also been weighing in on the work of the Chinese mechanics and simultaneously hitting out against some Jamaican mechanics. To subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.